creepy dating sim games.
Yep.
The $1 Switch store is one of the most fascinating parts of that entire store because, dear Lord, there is some garbo on there.
Some of the stuff that gets there, you're just like, how?
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's kind of like the App Store, the Apple App Store. Like, oh yeah, I'm looking at games right now, and I'm just like, some of these, I'm like, what? Like, what is this? What is
It
this?
amazes me just how...
Sheepo!
What?
That looks really cute. There's a game called Sheepo, and it looks cute.
See, it amazes me, though, just how many, like visual novels and, like, stuff that, like, never would have been caught dead on a Nintendo console years ago.
And now they're all here. Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, is this a Mahjong game with anime girls? Oh, you have to enter your age to look at it? Oh boy. Alright.
Yeah, Nintendo has grown up a little bit on a lot of things. They still think it's 1995 with some things, but...
Am I old enough? I'm old enough! I'm old enough! It's fine. Oh god. Oh god.
Did you go too far?
Oh no! Is it like one of those games where like you play it and then they like their clothes come on? Oh no! No! It's Mahjong though!
It's sexy. It's sexy Mahjong.
It's sexy Mahjong.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. On this episode, me and Alex are going to be taking a look back at the Nintendo Switch. Now that it is 4 years into its lifespan, we're going to go over some of our early thoughts looking at the system, what we expected of it, and just how it's kind of gone through during its entire run, and what we think about it now and what its future will be, along with some of our favorite moments, with honestly one of the coolest ideas Nintendo's probably come up with in the last couple of years. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us as we discuss the games that shaped us. It's Nintendo Switch time. So, how have you been?
That's an accumulation of how this week has gone. Yep. So, do you want to say how you've been first, and then I'll go into my story, because it will be a long one?
Okay. So, this week has been slow, to put it lightly.
I agree.
I really haven't had any mishaps this week. Work's been... Well, I found it at work that they re-signed our lease for the building, so we're guaranteed to be there at least one more year.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So, that's a sign. That means I have one more year of saving.
That's something.
Before I have to make a decision on my future plans, but
Yep.
There's that. I mean, nothing crazy happened. I had no catastrophes at work. Other than that, it was basically just kind of went to work, came home, worked out for an hour, and then I've been on a RuneScape binge for like a week now.
Yep. Nice.
Because RuneScape is kind of like a... some people call it a drug addiction. I call it more like an old friend that you see every now and then.
Yep.
Like, you don't see them for long periods of time, and then once you get back, when they come for a visit, it's always a pleasant time. And then they go off again.
Yep. Nice.
So do you want to talk about what we're drinking first before we get into your rant?
Yes, sure. I am drinking... I think I was drinking this the last time, but it's a Willie's Super Brew hard seltzer with real fruit. Pineapple lime. I'm like certain I was drinking this the last time. I saved this in my fridge for today because I can't drive anywhere to get any other drinks. I'll go into that. But, yep, it's pretty good.
Yep, and I'm drinking my old but faithful ranch water, so...
Oh, nice. Ranch. Dr. Phil.
Oh, actually, before you go, though, I do want to... Before you go any farther, I want to give a little collecting update, because, that's partially in our name that we barely ever acknowledge.
Yep.
But I did get some games in the mail recently.
Nice.
And one of them is cool, the other three are like, why?
Yep.
So I got I picked up No More Heroes 3 for the Switch.
Nice. I have no idea what that is, but nice.
It's like anime. It's a very quirky game. I'll say that.
After I do my rant too, I gotta talk about anime because I've been watching some anime. But continue.
Okay. And then now for the funny ones, I got Superman Returns on original Xbox and Game Boy Advance. Don't ask why I do that to myself.
I'm just not. I'm just gonna assume that it's one of those things you collect because you're clinically insane.
Yeah, a little. And then I got Spider-Man Mysterio's Menace on Game Boy because it was $2.
Yep.
And then I got Tetris Worlds on Game Boy Advance because it was $1.
Yep. Nice.
Because I'm at the point now where I'm saving money, so rather than buying really expensive games, I'm buying the most hilarious garbage I can get my hands on.
Yep. Nice.
I'm also a huge Superman fan, so all his games are garbage, but I really kind of want to I want to do a review on them at some point, for the podcast, breaking each one of them down. But that means I have to play them.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to come and visit too, so we could play some of them together.
The problem with them is they're all on different consoles.
Yep.
And they're all pretty much garbage. There's a couple that are Yep. So, but anyways, you have a rant.
Yes. So, I hate Chrysler Capital. I hate them with a burning passion. I like my Jeep.
You wanted to own a Jeep.
I like my Jeep, but they suck. So I moved to Connecticut, and in Connecticut you have to they want your title at the DMV. So I had tried back when I first moved, and then of course they didn't send it, because why would they? Or they sent it a month after I asked them to. So I didn't have it for the appointment, so I kind of forgot about it. But then, this month, my registration was ending, so I was like, oh, shit, I need to get this done. So I called them, in the beginning of the month, and I was like, hi, could you, transfer, my title? So I faxed them the thing. And then I don't have a fax machine, so Mom faxed it, and she's like, it didn't work, the number's not right. And I was like, are you kidding? So I called them. I get another fax number. She faxes it. Doesn't work either. So I called them again. And this is over a span of days, too. I called them again. Get another fax number. It works, but it goes to, someone's personal address. So it was the Anderson family. So if you're the Anderson family and you got my request to transfer my title, just throw that away, please. So I call again. I get another fax number. It faxes again. It doesn't work. So eventually, I'm on the phone with them, and I'm like, all right, can I just email this to someone? Because I've gotten about 8 different fax numbers, and none of them are correct. So I email it to someone. And then I call. The Monday of my appointment was on Thursday, because Thursday was the last day of the month. I called them on the Monday, and I was like, hi, I just wanted to confirm that you sent my title over. And they go, yeah, we sent it over. It should be there. And I'm like, perfect, thank you so much, because they sent it the day I sent it in. I go to the DMV. I wait. I get up to the booth, and they say, nope, title's not here. So I get in the car, and first I call our mom, and I'm crying at this point because I don't know what to do, and I'm so stressed out about it. So I call her, and she's like, all right, you gotta call them again. So I'm calling Chrysler, and I'm basically just crying at this point. And they sent it that day. So they literally sent it the day I was there. But they gave me a tracking number this time, so I don't think they actually sent it. And I think that they just sent it that day with, priority overnight shipping.
Yep. And
they got a fax number. Because I'm like, not a fax number, a tracking number. Because I'm like, I don't think they get, they track everything. I don't think they priority mail everything. I think they just regular mail it. So I'm calling bullshit, and I don't think they even, had sent it. So.
Oh. As long as it's not Amazon delivering it, you'll be fine.
No. So I got a tracking number. It's supposed to be there on Monday. DMV isn't open on Monday, so, can't drive until Tuesday. So I got an appointment for Tuesday, and I'm just going to pray to God it's there, and if it's not, I'm probably going to cry again. So that's been my life, but because of that, I don't want to risk driving, because if I do drive, and I do get pulled over, I feel like this will be the time I get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm driving without my registration...
considering how you drive.
Hey, I do not... I speed, but, like, I'm not as bad as some of the other...
You just flat out admit it. You're like, I speed.
I do. I mean, we all do. I mean, like, because if you don't speed, then you're going too slow, and then people are going to drive into you. So,
Alex,
you know.
Going 50 into 20 is not going too slow.
No. I'm not. I don't do that. That was one time that was on our street, and I was doing that to mess with you, okay? I don't do... You know... I'm flipping him off on the camera. You can't see it, but fuck you. I don't do that at all. Bill, you've been on the highway with me. You've seen how insane Connecticut drivers are. You've seen it.
I've seen how drivers are in general, especially since everything started opening up again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and there's, like... Me and my boss are actually talking about it. We think, you know, in Massachusetts, like, the left lane is the fast lane, and you're driving over the speed. For the most part, though, you're driving over the speed
You're going to get that one
limit.
person who's an asshole every now and then and just sits in the slow lane.
Oh,
like
yeah. In the fast lane. Like,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. But in Massachusetts, though, you got to admit, like, it's more likely or not that's the fast lane. In Connecticut, there's no rules. Sometimes someone's going slow, sometimes someone's going super, super fast, and then sometimes people are just driving all over the road. Oh my God. I almost died because of a Penske rental truck. And it just gave me more trauma because I already hate them. Not kidding. I'm on this bridge going to work. I have to cross over this bridge every day going to work. And I see this Penske truck coming up to, like, he's merging into the lanes, and I'm like, I thought someone cut him off, and I was like, no, this guy's just insane, and he's going like 90 miles an hour in a Penske truck, which I don't know how is possible, because they have a set speed, but I think he broke it. But I'm not kidding, I saw it tipping at some points from how wild it was driving, and I literally thought I was going to die because of it. It was like this close to my butt at some points.
So it'd be a prime example of one of my favorite subreddits now.
What?
The good old idiot, good old r/idiots in cars.
Yep. No, it was perfect.
Hours of entertainment.
I literally thought he was going to, like, tip and kill someone. I was like, huh? And I thought it was going to be me for a little bit until he got away from me, and it was scary though. I was like, die! I already hate Penske trucks because I had to do the move in a Penske truck, and then me and Mom, whenever we see them, we just go every time now.
At least it wasn't a Swift truck.
I see those a lot too.
I do too.
On my drives to work.
Cringe.
I'm always just like, I could die this very instant because of this truck. Let's hope I don't. My baby leave. Sorry, I'm very distracted.
She heard you ranting about life, so she left.
About Chrysler Capital. I can't tell she's... She's still there. She's on the couch.
Okay.
She's on the couch. She stole my
seat. Pretty much every car customer service is shit. Because, I mean, Ford has always been a pain in the ass for me, so...
Well, I've heard that, like, when you move to States and you're transferring your title, it's just a pain in the ass wherever you go. So, I've heard it's just a pain in the ass, but... You know, you'd think, like, one person would have the right fax number, you know? Maybe one. Nope.
Yeah.
They don't. So.
Well, I mean, nothing will ever beat the, We're a car podcast now, by the way.
Yes, we're just going to talk about driving. That's our podcast. Honestly, we could do a whole podcast on driving, learning to drive.
Yeah, but that would get old really fast.
I have a lot of
because it would make me hate driving, honestly.
I mean, I already do, so...
I like driving, I just hate people.
Exactly why I hate driving, because you're surrounded by people.
Yeah. Yeah, but, you wanted to talk about anime, because you're...
Oh, yeah. So I watched some new anime. I ended up, I kind of cheated. I was going to wait until all the episodes were out, but I started watching My Hero Academia, the new season. Well, so I started at season 1, and then I watched everything. I did that in like 2 weeks, and then I watched almost all of the newest season, except I think there's 2 episodes that weren't dubbed yet, so I'm waiting on those to come out. But I gotta say, it's very much, you know how, like, did you see One Punch Man?
I saw the first season.
Alright. Well, did you know the common, like, complaints of, like, One Punch Man season 2?
Maybe.
So, like, for me, One Punch Man season 2, it was kind of like an in-between to something bigger. So, it wasn't really that great of a season. Like, I enjoyed it, but, like, there wasn't that much going on. So, it's kind of, not filler, but it was kind of like the motions leading up to a big event. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I kind of thought this season of My Hero Academia was. I thought it was just the motions leading up to the big event. So,
gotcha.
I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't think it was, like, great. And that was good. It was just good, you know. So that's my opinion.
Sorry, Yashahime Season 2 comes out pretty soon, so
You'll be
hopefully
watching it.
it's looking better. The second season's already looking better than the first one from all the teasers we've seen, so
Nice.
hoping for at least... I'm just hoping that we actually know what the hell's going on with the plot.
Yes.
Because that's what I want to know, and
Plot.
many people do.
Plot. It's
But-
been...
Anyways, do you have anything to add before we get to our topic, or... So that's a no.
The Grape Lady.
Don't make that noise.
Bill didn't know what the Grape Lady was until, like, 2 months ago when I showed him the Grape Lady.
Because I don't know every single internet meme.
Also, that probably made a lot of noise. I was doing drum roll. Our convention is coming up sooner than we think. Retro
Oh, yeah.
World. Because right after
Yeah,
Halloween, it's going to be Retro World's then the very next weekend.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize that, but I was moving things around because my hair appointment I had a hair appointment scheduled the day of our friend's party. So I didn't want, so I moved it, and then when I moved it to Retro World, and I was like, shit. So I had to call them back, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm a dumbass, and I didn't look. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, God, I gotta start saving then for that.
Yep. But that
Alright,
should be
keep that in mind.
fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping it goes pretty well.
Yeah, I think it'll be
We'll
fun.
have to wait and see.
Yep.
We'll do a podcast talking about that one as well.
Yep.
So,
But all right,
but,
we should talk
anyways,
about our topic for today.
so getting back into, this is a gaming podcast after all, so we should probably talk about gaming.
What? Nah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so a little while back we did an episode on the Nintendo Wii U, which was Nintendo's probably biggest failure of a console since the Virtual Boy.
Yep.
Well, they've had other failures, but those are probably the two most well known.
Mhm.
And the Wii U is a weird one because it wasn't a bad system, but it failed so spectacularly by Nintendo standards that Nintendo was literally at that time carried by the 3DS and Amiibos.
Mhm.
So, by around the end, as we had mentioned, by around the end of the Wii U's lifespan, they had already announced its successor
Yes.
in the middle of a generation. Like, the PS4, Xbox One were still going pretty strong at this point.
Yep.
Well, PS4 more so than the Xbox One, but that's beside the point.
Mhm.
So I still remember the initial announcement of they're making a successor, and all it was referred to as was the NX.
NX.
The NX.
NX.
And so I remember because we really at that point knew nothing about it other than it was the successor to the Wii U. It was supposedly going to be more powerful.
Mhm.
and that was really about it. That and that the Zelda game that they were developing for Wii U was most likely also going to come out on the NX. And then around that time, we also started seeing a lot of upcoming games be announced, also to be coming out for the NX.
Yeah.
Like I remember Dragon Quest 11. I remember specifically having a coming for NX like logo.
Oh,
on it
really?
when it was first announced, even though the Switch version, as it would eventually be called, didn't come out until years after the PS4 original.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, it keeps going a bit, and we start getting a little bit more info here and there, and then we get that first reveal, where it's like, it's a console, but it's also a handheld.
What?
So, and I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, cool. What about the 3DS? What does this mean?
Dun, dun, dun.
Because at that point, the 3DS was still going pretty strong. Like, I remember, like, 3DS was still getting tons of good games at that point. And I was wondering, I'm like, okay. Well, at first I was kind of curious. I'm like, how many people are actually going to use it handheld?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, like, this is going to be just kind of a gimmick. Like, they're just kind of going to throw it out there, and it's probably not going to be used.
And you were wrong.
Well, let's not even go there yet, because we still didn't really see much of it, other than we just kind of saw the idea.
Yep.
Like, it had the cool controllers that would attach to the system, and then they'd attach to the that little ugly controller thing that sucks, and I don't recommend using.
Yep.
If you're gonna play console wise, get a pro controller.
Still need to buy one.
I remember that, and looking at it, I was like, they basically made a tablet that was attached to some sort of device.
Yep.
That lets it play on the screen, and I'm like, okay. I'm curious. Let's see some games. And then the first major game trailer comes out, and we see Breath of the Wild, which, to be fair, is technically a Wii U port, but that's beside the point.
Yep.
And then the one that got me sold immediately, Mario Odyssey.
Yep.
Mario Odyssey, that first trailer. My God. And from then I was like, okay, I want to Switch, but not right away, because Odyssey wasn't going to be out at launch.
Yeah. It was
So
gonna
I was
take
like,
a little bit.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't need it right away, because I remember everyone going mad trying to get one. Like, I had a group of former associates at the time, and I remember they all were fighting to get pre-orders and stuff, and I'm just looking at them like,
I'm gonna wait.
I'm gonna wait until there's stuff worth playing on it, because I'm not a huge Zelda fan. I like Zelda, but I'm not a diehard.
It's
so
not your favorite, yeah. So it's not like you had the real I need to get it.
It's I didn't need to play Zelda right away, and even if I did, I could have just got the Wii U version.
Yeah.
So I held off. I didn't end up getting a Switch until the following Christmas.
Yep.
When Odyssey was out. And I remember that Christmas day, because I remember setting it up, and the setup was interesting, because I was kind of like, you don't have a Pro Controller at that point, so I'm kind of trying to figure out how this whole thing works. So I've got because basically all the dock is just an upscaler that lets it upscale to the TV. So I'm plugging that in, and then I discovered right away, I'm like, this thing has no memory at all, because it's a Nintendo system. Of course it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of messing around with the controllers, and I was kind of like, it's okay. I'm a little upset that there's no D-pad.
Yeah.
And it's a little small for my liking and cheap feeling, but
yeah,
it is what it is. So then out of the games I had, ironically, the first one I played was actually Mario Kart 8.
Oh, really?
And that was just because I just wanted to test, because it needed to finish charging stuff and getting set up. And I just wanted to test it out and see if it worked. So I just popped in Mario Kart 8, because I'm like, I know Mario Kart, I can play that easily.
Yep.
So I plugged that in, and then this is where I learned, oh, right, you're going to have to pay for online at some point. Because initially when the Switch came out, the online was free during the early periods before they fully established their, quote, the Nintendo network.
Yep.
So I was playing online, and it was literally all Japanese players, and they all kicked my ass.
That's so
I
funny.
was like, okay, like I don't want to be stereotypical here, but I mean, come on.
Yep.
So I played that for a few minutes, and I was like, okay. So then I put it down, and I actually spent time with the family because it was Christmas after all.
What? Why? You don't
Well, no,
need
no.
this.
Here's what I did. I put it in handheld mode, and I took it with me.
Oh.
And we were hanging out in the living room, and I had it playing handheld mode. And then this is where it
What?
caught your interest.
What? I'm like trying to think when. I believe that was also right before I went to Japan. Because I didn't have a Switch going to Japan, but I did have a Switch in college, so I think I got it the Christmas after.
I think you did, because I remember you didn't care initially. You were like, whatever.
But
I
then.
only care. No, your stance was, I only care about handhelds.
Yes.
And I remember commenting. I was like, you know what the Switch is, right?
I didn't know at the time. Leave me alone.
Your whole reasoning was the next Animal Crossing will obviously be on the handheld, and I was like,
And then it was.
it'll be
I didn't research it as much, so I didn't.
This was
process
pre
that
Alex
it wasn't.
really. This is pre Alex really getting into gaming more so than she was
Yeah.
at the time. So I always kind of found that funny because she was so like, yeah, it's stupid. And then I'm playing it that Christmas day, and she's looking at me, and like she's like, "That's like a handheld," and I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, and then she's just kind of staring at it like, "I've made a terrible mistake."
I wish I got one of these too. I'm
remember
actually
that.
okay though that I didn't get it because I feel like I'd be really stressed out about losing it in Japan.
Well, you probably wouldn't have brought it to Japan.
No, I probably wouldn't have, but it would have kind of sucked, like, not to have it. So I'm glad I had my DS, and that's it. I played that for most of the flight. But anyways, back to the Switch.
Yeah, but it's funny because the 3DS will come in because, so once the Switch comes out and it's an immediate success,
Uh-huh.
I remember thinking like, oh wow, what's gonna happen with the 3DS? Because I remember everyone immediately was all like, it's dead, move on, Nintendo. Like
Yep.
I remember everyone online was all like, it's dead, give up on it, move on. I'm like, it's still doing all right. Like,
It's still chugging along. Come on, guys.
I'm like, give it a chance. Let the Switch build up
Yep.
a little, and then they can slowly phase it out. And that's kind of what Nintendo did, because the 3DS lasted a good while into like the Switch's lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember because it wasn't until the game, in my opinion, that truly killed the 3DS. I think we briefly mentioned this on our 3DS podcast we did God knows how long ago. But what killed the 3DS was, in my opinion anyways, the release of Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story 3D, or the remake, plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, or whatever it's called, where that game bombed so spectacularly that it killed Alpha Dream, the developer that made it,
Oh, that's so sad.
because they went bankrupt because they spent all their money on it, and no one bought it. It's the worst selling Mario game of all time.
Wow.
Not counting, I think, maybe like the one on Virtual Boy or whatever, but that's beside the point. But yeah, it was like one of the worst selling Mario games of all time, and it basically convinced Nintendo, okay, I think it's finally time to move on.
Yep.
Because they, I guess, from what I've read, is they had more stuff planned
Aww.
for the 3DS.
Yep.
And after that, they just canceled everything other than the stuff that was like basically done. Because I think Kirby the Epic Yarn port still came out, and then the like Persona Q2 came out, but that was already finished. They was just localizing it.
No.
Like there was a couple games that came out after, but other than that, it was basically Nintendo just kind of like, it was a hard stop.
There was like no more.
And to me, the way I look at the Switch is, Nintendo had just lost touch with the console market, like so far by like the Wii U.
Yeah.
Because even though the Wii was successful, like the original Wii, they were so out of touch by the end of that era. Like they just had such a large lead that they won kind of by default.
Yep.
But I feel like they got so out of touch in those last 2 years. I mean, even in the GameCube, they were kind of... Hell, they've been out of touch since the N64 in a lot of ways. But,
no, I agree.
I mean, it stems back when you really think about it. The N64, they would not go to CDs because they were afraid of piracy.
Yep.
All their developers leave them because they can't do they can't do what they want to do on cartridges. But they can do it on CDs. Mm-hmm. Sony blows them out of the water. Then they get to the GameCube, and by this point they're so labeled as they're so labeled as like the kiddie console
for kids.
That when Xbox shows up, which is basically to replace Sega, and they're basically the mature console, as you could say, even though they did try to have some kiddie games there in the beginning.
Yep.
I want to do actually an original Xbox episode at some point because it's a fascinating console to look at, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
So yeah, once that showed up, the GameCube got relegated to third.
Yep.
And it wasn't even close.
No. Oh. Oof.
Then they have a brief revival with the Wii, but
they kind of put themselves in a box.
See, they put themselves far ahead in the first couple of years.
Yep. And
then they kind of just stayed there while the other two caught up, but they never really went any farther than that.
Yeah.
And then by the time the Wii U comes out, it's a steep nosedive because they're so out of touch by this point.
Yeah, the Wii U is just woof. You can listen about in our Wii U episode all of our opinions on that.
But in a roundabout way of saying this, my reasoning is they were so out of touch and lost when it came to consoles that for the Wii U's successor, they basically just, because in the background of all this, their handhelds continuing to like succeed.
Be really successful, yeah.
I mean, granted, for most of the time, they never had any real competition. I mean, in the early days, they had the Game Gear and the Lynx, which were both technologically superior, but had shit battery life.
Yep.
And batteries were expensive as hell. So it was like, what were they gonna do?
Yeah.
And then you get to like the Game Boy Color and Advance era, and you had stuff like the Wonder Swan, which never left Japan, even though it was decently successful. And the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which was a cool system that had great battery life, but just had no games. Plus SNK was so not in a great place at that time.
Yep.
So Nintendo just kept going. And then they had their first real competition with the PSP.
Yes.
Versus the DS. And I remember still because everybody went with the PSP saying, like, this one is going to be the clear victor. Look at those graphics compared to the DS. What is that, 2 screens? That's stupid. This thing runs off CDs. Clearly Sony's thinking ahead.
Clearly.
Meanwhile, the DS completely runs away with it. Not that the PSP didn't put up a good fight, because it was a successful system. The problem is, the DS is the second most successful system of all time.
Yeah.
Because I've ranted about this many times, but anytime someone calls the PSP a failure, it triggers me a little.
Yeah, because it wasn't. Up against something that was.
I say this all the time. The PSP sold more than the 3DS.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. I always bring that up because it's like, it wasn't a failure. It was just the second place system. It was basically kind of like comparing the N64 to the PlayStation.
Yeah.
The gap was so big.
Yep.
But neither were a failure.
No.
But then, of course, we get to the 3DS, and the same thing happens with the 3DS. Everyone looks at the Vita. The Vita looks like it's going to be everything the PSP wasn't. It's a HD, or it's pseudo HD, 2 analog sticks. You know, the one thing everyone was asking for. 2 analog sticks, great graphics, great screen, and then they blow it with the games because they don't put any
yeah.
that are worth a damn other than like Persona 4 Golden and a few other smaller ones. Meanwhile, the 3DS struggles at first, but then once it finally finds its footing, takes off, and it's one of the most beloved handhelds of all time.
Once it got Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. This is a very long-winded way of getting into this, but the reason I say they were out of touch with consoles, but handhelds, they had it figured out.
Yeah.
So for my opinion is, with the Switch, they just gave up on making a console at this point.
Yeah.
And they just decided, we're going to make the most technologically advanced handheld we can possibly make.
Yep.
within reason, like, obviously, because they have to sell this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just going to find a way that you can play it on a big screen.
Yep.
And make it seamless.
And they did it.
And that's what the Switch was.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm convinced the Switch is literally everything they wanted to do with the Wii U.
It's just a big old ham. I said a big old ham. A big old handheld. Not a handheld. It's not ham, people. It's
literally...
It's ham. Sorry.
It's literally everything they wanted the Wii U to be done right.
Yes.
Because technology had moved on. Ironically, 2012 to 2017, technology had moved quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And, graphically, actually, we're going to take a quick break real quick, and we'll be right back while we get into more on the Switch. See you then.
Woo!
And we're back.
It's the Switch, bitch. That's my title for the episode, but Bill doesn't want to change it to that, so it won't be that. But in my heart, it's the Switch, bitch podcast.
Yeah, well, I already made the thumbnail, so I can't change it now.
Well, you're missing out. I've come up with a lot of great podcast names, and you've denied them every time.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep those in the vault for now. So. But anyways, back to the Switch.
The Switch, bitch.
Yeah. So, I guess now we can kind of go on like a rundown of like some of the like standout games that we've played over like going along like the system's like run so far.
Yes.
Because obviously, like I said beforehand, the one that truly like made me want the Switch was Mario Odyssey. Because we've said it multiple times now, Mario Odyssey is about as close to a perfect game as a perfect game can get, in my opinion. Like, there's just everything about that game is perfect and a blast, except for that damn scooter jump rope thing, but that's beside the point.
Yes. And the snow level that is harder for others than it is for some.
Well, regardless.
Yes, but besides that, it is a wonderful, really great game.
What would you say was the game that truly got you drawn in?
Well, I'd actually have to say it wasn't Animal Crossing.
Well,
it was Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
I played that, and I still play that to this day. Like, I love that game. It's just so fun, and it's so relaxing.
It's just It's basically just farming the game.
I know, but it's more than that, because you farm, you fish, you can, like, go and...
Well,
you can mine for things, and you can, like, fight monsters and stuff, and you go to the... There's so much more to it, Bill. It's not just farming.
Alex, I've played almost every Harvest Moon. I know what kind of game it is.
Well...
You should really play Harvest Moon, well, Story of Seasons, because...
I should. Is it on the Switch?
All the most recent ones are on Switch.
Okay, then I'll play it.
Get the two newest ones. They're really good.
Alright,
I'll
play it.
Yeah, so I remember, because you, like... I got Stardew Valley just kind of because I heard good things, and I enjoyed it for what it was, but Alex, she binged that for like 4 days straight. I swear.
I for months. Well, like, I played that for months.
You love those life simulation games, like social.
I do. I get so into them. Well, games where it's like you like have tasks and stuff. I like doing that. I like doing tasks. I guess I don't know. I really like that game. It was fun.
They're like RPGs, but without the stress. I guess you could say.
Yeah. It's more relaxing. You can get married, you can have kids, and you can also have farm animals. But if you don't feed them, they'll hate you.
So it's like any virtual pet.
Yes. But also, if you don't feed them or pay attention to them, they'll also hate you even more.
Yep. Now, besides, obviously in the beginning, though, another huge huge game for the Switch. But like Mario Odyssey was one, but obviously the de facto system seller for the Switch right away was Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild made me like reconsider Zelda games. Because at that point I was really when it came to
non-Zelda-er.
Well, I didn't hate Zelda, like...
You just didn't play it, though.
See,
you had nothing drawing you to the game.
We grew up with PlayStation consoles, so it was like... The only Zelda games I really could play were the handheld ones, which at that point were...
No,
I don't want to count... Well, no, they were fine. They were good. They're good enough games, but... So, around the point where I would really know what Zelda was probably around the Game Boy Advance era, and that was like Minish Cap. Which is a great game, but I would have never gotten that.
You would have never gone for it.
And then the DS games are good but decisive. Mm-hmm. And then, like, honestly, the first Zelda game that really drew me in was A Link Between Worlds for the 3DS.
Huh.
And then when... Obviously, I didn't want Breath of the Wild initially at first, just because I wasn't going to jump in on the hype right away, but I eventually got it after I saw how many people really liked it. And I saw some screenshots, and I literally saw... It literally looked like an open-world Zelda game, and I was like, okay, that looks cool.
This is intriguing, yeah.
Because I already was blown away by Mario Odyssey's open-world design, so... I picked it up, and I gave it a shot, and you know what? It is a really fun game.
Yeah.
Just the whole... Oh, you can spend hours not even following the story and be, like, happy. It's...
Oh, yeah. No, whenever I played it, I was just mostly, like, fucking
exploring
around and eventually following the story, but I think I wasted so much time just running around and stuff.
It's like how I've been playing RuneScape for, like, the last few years, like, for this... Since I got back into it at the beginning of 2021, where I spent the first half of this year literally doing nothing but skills and like getting levels up, and then now I'm finally doing quests again.
Yep.
And I'm breezing through them all because I'm super like overpowered now. But
you're OP.
No, I'm not OP, not quite, because I haven't played RuneScape in many years, so it's got a lot of new features that I don't understand yet. But but back to the Switch. So yeah, Zelda was a huge one, and then the ports started.
Yes,
the
like
ports.
Smash Brothers?
Well, not so much Smash Brothers, because that's an original game.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Ultimate's an original game. But
I thought it was just a port.
No.
Oh, we also forgot about the Pokemans.
They came a little later.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I thought they came earlier.
Well, the porting started before... They were early, but the porting started pretty much... I mean, the first game I played was a port. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And then we started seeing Bayonetta 2 was ported over, and then eventually like Pikmin 3 was ported over, and just Super Mario Brothers U was ported over, and it ported over, and it was like port after port after port, and I was slowly realizing they're just making it so no one will ever play the Wii
play
U
the Wii U again.
Like currently it's literally there's like 4 games that are like worth playing on it that you can't play on the Switch.
Womp womp.
So that was interesting for a while, because I was kind of hesitant to pick up ports for games that I had on the Wii U, just because I didn't want to buy the game twice. But a lot of them have like quality of life improvement stuff, and like eventually like Tokyo Mirage Sessions got brought over, and I was like, okay, I like that one. And then Pokemon did show up, and we've talked about Pokemon in the past a couple times. The Let's Go games. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I have never wanted to like a game so much, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, those games do so many things right, but so many things wrong at the same time. It's like... Just trying to, like...
No.
Trying to get...
Did you finish Let's Go?
No, because every time I play it, I get, like, through a town and then I get bored.
Oh. I did finish Let's Go, and I felt similar. I'm like, I just feel like it was almost a wasted opportunity. Like, it looked so good and so nice, and then they ruined it with the whole, like, Pokemon Go aspect. And I feel like Pokemon, I mean, there's still people who play it, but I feel like at this point, it's very much like...
It's a fad that's passed.
It's very much past, yeah.
But another problem I had with it too is that was a game where 80% of my Switch game time is usually in console mode just because I prefer a big screen. But that game is like one of those games that you have to play like handheld.
Yeah.
Because
It's just
its console design is bad, like where you only use one Joy-Con and you have to use the motion controls that barely work.
yeah. The controls just don't work for it on the console.
No.
I mean, they work, but it's bad.
Yeah, they're not great because the Switch doesn't use traditional like the same motion controls that the Wii or that the Wii did. It's more like it's like
The Wii or no.
it's like a gyroscope and like an accelerometer. That's how it works, and it's a different style and it's not exactly the same. It's more accurate in some ways, but at the same time, it's like you throw the Pokeball one way and it goes the other way.
Yeah.
I can't explain that, but
No, sometimes it didn't matter. I'd just be like, what?
catching Pokemon like that was so infuriating, and it sucks too because that game is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, and like when you did do battles, the battle system was pretty good.
Aside
too.
from how hilariously broken it was.
Oh yeah, no, but I feel like that's kind of a problem with like a lot of the Pokemon.
Yeah,
games
but that
as
one in
recently.
particular.
Oh yeah, no, it was very easy. It was very baby mode, very baby. Oh, I almost fell off my chair.
That would have been something.
I almost fell.
But anyway, yeah. So Pokemon was.
I'm not kidding. I seriously almost fell. I was trying to get my leg up on the other chair because it really scared me. Holy shit.
Okay.
I almost fell.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, anyways, so Pokemon was, even though it's decisive, it was a big success at the time because I remember going in to find it at GameStop, and I remember it being like there was one copy left. I was like, oh great.
Yeah.
I've still yet to actually use that Pokeball controller thing.
You have one?
No, I've yet to like find one and use.
Oh, okay. I've never used it and I never will because I just why?
I don't know.
Why would I buy that? Don't use it for one game. That's it. No.
Well, Alex, there's another game on this that we're gonna be talking about later that's literally the same thing.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's one. It comes with a peripheral that you use just for that game.
Ah. Have I played it?
Yeah, you own it.
I own it?
Okay, it comes with a giant ring.
Oh, that's different though. Like, and they're making more games for that, I think.
I haven't heard, but
Alright, well, that's different. That has more, at least like that has a purpose. You could use that though as an actual Pilates ring though, too.
yeah,
But that serves another purpose. You know, just
So
this podcast. We're very angry at each other today. Grr! Or it's just me being aggressive.
I think you're just tired, and even though you've been
I
cooped
am.
up at home all day.
I know, but I think that makes it worse because it's like I've been cooped up. And I mean, well, I've been busy though. Do you know how hard it is to work from home with a cat that, like, when you're home, never leaves you alone?
I wouldn't know. But
You wouldn't know.
anyways,
Exactly. It's hard.
back on topic. So, another huge feature about the Switch was its store.
Yes.
Now, I was a fan of the 3DS store, and I like the Wii U store to a degree as well. The Switch store, though, my God.
Yes.
Basically, the Switch's store basically became very quickly a repository of just
Random.
whatever game developers could think of. They just threw it on the Switch store and been like, see if it sells. Because, my God, it is like literally
Chaos.
you'll have like old games from like last generation, like the last generation, like ported over to it because it can handle it, and then you've got like old like games being ported, all sorts of indie games, really creepy dating sim games.
Yep.
The $1 Switch the $1 Switch store is one of the most fascinating parts of that entire store because, dear Lord, there is some garbo on there.
Some of the stuff that gets there, you're just like, how?
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's kind of like the App Store, the Apple App Store. Like, oh yeah, I'm looking at games right now, and I'm just like, some of these, I'm like, what? Like, what is this? What is
It
this?
amazes me just how...
Sheepo!
What?
That looks really cute. There's a game called Sheepo, and it looks cute.
See, it amazes me, though, just how many, like visual novels and, like, stuff that, like, never would have been caught dead on a Nintendo console years ago.
And now they're all here. Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, is this a Mahjong game with anime girls? Oh, you have to enter your age to look at it? Oh boy. Alright.
Yeah, Nintendo has grown up a little bit on a lot of things. They still think it's 1995 with some things, but...
Am I old enough? I'm old enough! I'm old enough! It's fine. Oh god. Oh god.
Did you go too far?
Oh no! Is it like one of those games where like you play it and then they like their clothes come on? Oh no! No! It's Mahjong though!
It's sexy. It's sexy Mahjong.
It's sexy Mahjong. Wasn't there a whole game where like that?
Wasn't
there like an old Nintendo game where that was like part of it? Like you were rescuing a girl and like.
No, you're thinking of. Oh God, you're thinking of that old like unlicensed Wisdom Tree game.
Yeah.
Well, it was before they were Wisdom Tree when they actually it's before they made religious games. They made games where a girl takes her clothes off when you fail.
Why is that popping in my head?
Were you watching AVGN recently?
No, I just thought of that and I was like, oh,
well,
that reminds me of that.
The Wii had a game called Sexy Poker, so.
Oh God.
Which was exactly what it sounds like, but
Oh God.
Yeah, there's some hilarious stuff on the Switch store, but the Switch store also led me to like an interesting phenomenon I've never really had in gaming before, where I was buying multiple copies of games that I already owned for like PS4 at the time, and buying them for the Switch just to play them portably. But I'd buy the digital version just because I already own the physical for another console.
Yeah, so you don't really need.
Yeah. So I have a lot of like games that I'd owned on other systems, and I bought a lot of stuff just to buy. Like I have like almost every Final Fantasy like imaginable, all the Dragon Quests that are available, basically anything like all the BioShock, anything that looked like fun on the go. Because the whole prospect of being able to play these things wherever you go is just it's like too much of a tempting offer to take to like not pass up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Crash games are on there, the Spyro games, like everything really. Like, hell, even Doki Doki Literature Club is on the Switch now.
And there's like 12 different Mahjong games.
Yeah, one of them is sexy.
Actually, there's 2 that are sexy.
Yeah, of course there is.
There's Pretty Girls Mahjong and Solitaire, and then there's Delicious Pretty Girls Mahjong Solitaire.
Oh boy.
And then Bishoujo Battle Mahjong Solitaire. And then there's just normal solitaire. I mean, Mahjong. Oh, Mahjong Mat. There's a whole bunch. So, guess who's going to be playing some Mahjong later?
Yep.
Will it be the sexy ladies? Who knows?
Yeah, knowing you know because it's not sexy anime men.
Yeah, I know. If it was JoJo's character.
JoJo's are just Luffy.
No. JoJo's characters. JoJo's. He's too pure. There's a whole character arc where he's on an island of women and he doesn't even care. What? No, there's one of the characters, okay, Boa Hancock. She has them.
Save this for next week. Save this for next week.
No, I refuse. You got me started. You should have brought up One Piece. Shouldn't have done it.
Save this for later.
No.
But, anyways, yeah.
It's the Switch, bitch.
The Switch store has been fun, and then of course, another thing. So the Switch now has a paid subscription service, like every platform. It's pretty cheap, to be honest. I mean, it's like $20 no, like $10 for a year, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like $10 for a year, which really isn't that bad.
It's
for a
it's
whole
like
year.
absurdly cheap.
You pay that for a month, like monthly for like I paid less. That's less than I paid for Hulu monthly.
I know, it's pretty nuts, but
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the perks that comes with that is there's no virtual console anymore. Like they've done away with that, but instead of that, they've replaced it with Nintendo NES Classics and SNES Classics, which are basically a couple libraries that have a selection of NES and SNES games that you can choose from.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like you have access to like all these games, and they're continuously adding more. And I believe I saw a thing that I think the N64 is getting one next.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be even more games to play on the Switch anywhere.
There really is a ton of games.
And I mean, even like Sega's been pushing all their Sega Ages stuff out. Like it's an endless supply of games. And then of course one of my favorite ideas they've ever done is Tetris 99. Battle Royale Tetris.
You can play competitively with other people.
You versus 98 other. I think it's either 98 other people, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 98 other people, and it's basically Battle Royale Tetris. Who's the last man standing?
Yep.
I've gotten to number 2 once. I've never gotten number 1, but
that's pretty sick. Maybe someday.
And then
or maybe not.
They followed that idea up with Mario 35 for Mario's 35th anniversary. Unfortunately, that one is no longer playable.
Oh.
Because
that kind of sucks.
Because Nintendo decided they're going to do this big celebration for Mario, and they're going to release like the 3D All-Stars and then Mario 35 plus the first Fire Emblem, and then they're just going to take them all off after it's over and make it so no one can have them.
But I mean, at least like leave it for the people who paid. I mean,
Well, no, you didn't. Well, Mario 35 you didn't pay for. That was free.
Oh, okay.
So I still have the app on my Switch, but if you try to play it, it'll say the service is no longer available.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
So it just kind of sits there now. You can't even like do practice mode anymore. It's completely just taking up space. But I don't want to get rid of it just because it's a piece of history.
Yeah.
You can still play the 3D All-Stars in the Fire Emblem game that they got rid of, but I don't get that Nintendo's whole thought process there. I don't understand that one.
I don't get that either. Yeah.
We're gonna celebrate and then get rid of it so you can't have it anymore. Yeah. It's like great. But
cool.
And then a third one came out, and that was Pac-Man 80, 85 or something. It was like Pac-Man something, and it was basically it was Battle Royale Pac-Man.
Yeah.
So they've done 3 of these now, and they're all, well, there's 2 left, but they're all equally as addicting and entertaining.
Nice.
And those have been a blast. Like tons of our old arcade games are getting ported on the Switch now too. Like I have Frogger. I have a whole bunch of old Neo Geo games that are up because they're just there and they're all available. It's like, why not?
Yeah, why not play it?
And they're all cheap as hell.
Yeah.
But then, so then moving on. Now you didn't play this one, but this game was probably one of my biggest plays on the Switch when it came out. Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Oh yes, I remember you playing that.
I binged the hell out of 3 Houses because so one of my favorite games of all time is Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS. Like I know it's the newbie boom game and all the old school Fire Emblem fans throw a hissy fit over it because it ruined the franchise, blah blah blah, who no one cares. But
you like it, so who also cares?
They don't like it because it's popular now and because they liked it when it was their little niche, but who cares what they think? So
they're just being little switchy bitchies.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so Fire Emblem Awakening is like one of my favorite games of all time. So
yep.
When I've been after that, I've been following the series religiously. Fates was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of Fates. I liked aspects of it. And then Echoes was was pretty cool too, even though it was like a remake of a really old game. But when I saw 3 Houses, the first one for the Switch, I was like, I need this.
And you were like, I need this in my life?
Well,
give it to me now.
It looked so cool. Like, it was like the first console game they had done since the one on the Wii. And it was cool because it incorporated like these like sections. So the game is primarily a tactical RPG where it's like you move the characters around on the board playing field and they move in turns kind of thing. But in between battles there is a overworld that you can walk around and explore, and it plays like a Persona game where like you build up relationships and you talk to people and find stuff. And like
is it made by the same studio?
No, that's the thing. So what's funny as hell is that the quote unquote Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem game that came out, Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It's basically that game is basically Persona but you summon Fire Emblem characters. Fire Emblem Three Houses feels more like a Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover than the actual crossover feels like.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it wasn't even 100% developed by Intelligent Systems, the series normal developer. It was instead co-developed by Koei Tecmo, and they did a phenomenal job because it has like 5 different story paths you can go, or it's either 5 or 4. I think it's 5 because one of them has 2, and they're just super fun stories, super fun gameplay. Honestly, if you're gonna play a tactical RPG, that's probably the one to play in my opinion. Now, what was another game that well, I mean, obviously Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
The game that got
but I feel
everyone...
like you got more into Animal Crossing than me in the end.
Well, I mean, we've both stopped playing it, but...
Yeah, we both did. But Animal Crossing was definitely a big one. And then there was also the other Pokemon game, Sword and Shield, which I liked. It was pretty good. It's too easy, but
I still haven't played it.
About that.
Still haven't played it.
It's good. I started dabbling into the download DLC, and I never finished it. I gotta pick that up again. I still
love Animal Crossing just because that came out at such a weird time in like the world.
It came out at the perfect time.
I mean,
well,
in a sense, but at the
in a business sense, it came out in the perfect time because they probably sold way more.
They did sell a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, what an odd time frame that was.
Oh, yeah.
And I still remember, like, everybody was playing Animal Crossing. Like, even people I had
people bought Switches to play Animal Crossing. Like, when you went out to stores like Target, there was no Switches left.
It was easier to find a copy of Animal Crossing than it was to find a Switch at the time. It was crazy.
Yeah, because everyone was buying the download one.
Well,
which, honestly, I recommend having the download because then you can just play it easier.
For any game like that uses a real in-game clock, I always think it's better to have downloaded just for the sake of convenience, because it's it's so tedious to constantly put the cartridge back, and that's one of the reasons I never got I could never get into New Leaf.
Yeah. That's why I only played New Leaf for a good year.
Yeah. Well, you have a serious Animal Crossing addiction sometimes.
I do. Well, I have in the past, and I still love Animal Crossing. And I'll pick up.
You have other games that you're into now.
Yeah. Well, I really like. Well, it's funny because when I pick up a game and I want to play casually, I end up leaning more towards Stardew Valley, or RPGs now. So I need to get some more RPGs.
Yeah.
But
you have Final Fantasy IX just sitting there.
I know. I gotta play it at some point.
It's the best one out of the PlayStation ones, anyways.
Well, I'll be home all weekend, so maybe I'll do that. I'll play Final Fantasy.
Give it a shot, anyways. It's a great game. Even for a game that was made in 2000, it's a phenomenal game.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
I'm trying to think. Well, now I guess we should talk about Ring Fit Adventure.
Heck yeah!
Ring Fit
Adventure. So fun.
It's one of the most genius. We've talked about it in the past a few times, but it is one of the most genius games Nintendo's ever come out with. Mm-hmm. Because we've gone over Wii Fit, how it makes you think you're obese.
Yeah.
And it's a good idea on paper. It doesn't really execute itself properly.
Yep.
Well, on the opposite end of that spectrum, Ring Fit Adventure is the total opposite, because it basically takes a concept, the concept of exercise, and makes an actual game. An RPG, no less.
Yes.
Where you...
No, it's not just exercising. It's like actually doing something that's fun and entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
And keeps you doing it.
You're fighting battles with a Pilates ring, people.
Yes. But it's fun. It's so
And you
crazy,
explore dungeons
Sorry.
by running in place or squatting.
Yep.
Depending on your preference. Yep. And you do yoga moves and like exercises to do attacks in combat. It's really cool, but it beats the ever loving shit out of you to play after a while.
Yep.
Like I felt like major garbage after playing it sometimes because I'm like, ugh.
Oh yeah, it's a good workout. Like
it is.
It does work you out.
The ring.
Like,
you know what was funny? Because that game came out like peak 2020. Finding a copy of Ring Fit was almost impossible.
Yeah.
Like I got
mine in.
You got yours towards the tail end. No, you got yours actually right at the beginning of 2021.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, because you got it right before we filmed the first episode of this podcast.
Yep. Yeah, no, we did. Yeah. Oh my god, wow.
Because you got it at the Best Buy where we bought our mics.
Yeah.
I remember that. But yeah, when it first came out, it was almost impossible to find. I found a copy on eBay. Some guy was selling for like $70.
Oh Jesus!
I think that was actually a decent price for the time though, because there was other people that were selling it for like over $100.
Oh God!
But yeah, that one was crazy. Another cool thing about the Switch too is how they've been very diverse in what they've been releasing. Like they did another Luigi's Mansion game that was fun. Mm-hmm. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Well, that was a Wii U game, but it came out also over here. All sorts of stuff like.
Yeah.
The Switch is literally endless like entertainment. Like there is nothing but great games, and really it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Like
well, I was gonna say an analogy, but I didn't want it to be rude. It's like a trash center, you know, because there's the recycled stuff, and then there's all the other stuff, and then there's the gross stuff, but then there's the like hidden treasures, you know. It's a dump. It's a dump. The Switch, a dump.
Yeah, that's a way of saying it, alright.
Not in a mean way, but I was just like, oh, recycled goods, and then there's some bad stuff, but then there's the good stuff.
Well, it's just it always gets me too how it's like Nintendo went through a period where it's like everything they made was crap, and like it felt like they were just half-assing everything except for an occasional game. Then we get to the Switch era, and it's like suddenly Nintendo's like on it. Like everything they make is gold, and they're like, "Are you okay there?"
Bill.
What?
My Friend Peppa Pig coming out October
22nd. Get that shit out of here.
Oh my god, it looks so fun. Hell yeah, you guys know what I'll be playing soon. My Friend Peppa Pig.
I forgot about that.
I'm looking at the new releases. There's actually a lot of good games coming out. Oh yeah, like the new including Peppa Pig, you know.
The new Pokemon's coming out. Metroid Dread.
Bayonetta 3.
Whatever.
Splatoon 3. Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Another Kirby. The
Pokemon Arceus.
That Legends. I'm still looking forward to that one.
I'm looking forward to that. And then there's the Diamond and Pearl one, which, you know, I'm still going to play. And then there's Big Brain. Big Brain's making
they're making another Big Brain Academy. I forgot about that.
Yeah. There's another Mario Party. There's a Metroid.
Metroid Dread. I can't wait. The first 2D Metroid game in freaking who knows. Well, the first original 2D Metroid game since freaking Fusion in 2000.
Chocobo GP?
What?
Chocobo. It's Chocobo.
Oh, is
like
it
the little characters from
Is it a
Final
racing
Fantasy.
game?
Yeah, it's a racing game where you race this little Chocobo.
That's not the first time they've done this.
Well, there's also people in cars too, though. So.
I know, Alex. It's not the first time they've done this.
Oh, yep.
There's actually a PS1 game called Chocobo Racing.
Wow.
It's okay.
Oh, this one actually looks kind of interesting. This one looks like an RPG Maker game. Finding Paradise. Actually looks kind of interesting. Oh, Oh, it's the second episode. Do you know what To the Moon was?
Yeah, I have it downloaded.
Yeah, it's the second episode. Second full episode of the To the Moon series.
I didn't realize it was a
cool.
series because I haven't finished that one yet, but...
I didn't realize it was either. That's cool. Alright, that's gonna be cool.
There's also a massive amount of golf games on the Switch.
Yeah, I have noticed. There's quite a
There's
few.
Golf Story, there's Golf with Friends, there's Golf's Life, like...
Oh, they got all the Danganronpa games.
Oh yeah, I saw those are all coming. But I own them on... I own them all on Vita and PS4.
So do you really need another...
Do I need it? If I want to play it on the go, I have the Vita.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. The Smurfs? Fuck.
I have that for ColecoVision.
What?
I have the ColecoVision game. Because it came with a...
Ew!
What?
YouTuber's life. Ugh. Just sounds... Why would you want to live as a
what,
YouTuber?
you want to be a train wreck of a human?
Is it like...
No.
Can you, like, eat until you're obese?
Let's not get into that. The fact that that's a thing again. Let's not right now.
Yeah.
Not right.
Oh, I feel so bad. I hope someone helps that man. That's all I want to say. I hope he gets some help.
I don't think there's any helping him.
No.
I think he's...
Oh, and then there's... Oh, Pretty Girls Mahjong doesn't come out till October 7th, Bill. So mark your calendar, okay?
Great.
Oh, and then there's just a clock. You want to buy a clock? That's it. That's all it is.
I think the Switch has one built in.
It just it adds a clock face.
I believe the Switch... I believe the Switch...
That's literally all it is. It's not a game. It just adds a clock.
The Switch has a Yule log too. Remember that?
Oh, hell yeah. Put that on.
Or am I thinking of the Wii?
Is there a Yule log? Maybe it might have been the Wii.
The Wii definitely had one, but I feel like the Switch would have a Yule log too. Because why wouldn't it at this point?
I need to know. How do you spell Yule? Is it
Y-U-L-E, I believe.
Sorry, we couldn't find any results.
Probably not.
Fuck you.
Well,
you could always use the YouTube app and then
Yeah,
find a multi-hour
Yule log. Actually, you know what kind of bums me out? They've been putting a lot of RPG Maker games on the Switch lately. They put Mad Father on there, but they didn't put Misao. It's just kind of like, why'd you only put one of them?
I think we talked about that at one point. I think we talked about that because we were like,
well, let's save that for another topic later.
Yes.
But yeah.
Wink, wink.
Honestly.
Nudge, nudge.
Oh, I forgot. We should probably talk about the Joy-Con drift for a little bit.
The Joy-Con drift. Oh, yeah.
And how they still haven't fixed it.
Yeah.
That was, I still have yet to actually encounter it.
Oh, really?
Well, no, actually, no. One of my Joy-Cons doesn't work anymore.
Okay, that's what I thought you said.
I forgot my blue one, I believe. No, it's my yellow one. My yellow one, which I'm bummed about.
Aw, that stinks. Because we have the matching ones.
Yeah, because that was a present from you guys. Yeah, my yellow one died. I gotta look at one of those how to fix the videos.
Hopefully you can fix it.
But yeah, that was a thing. Oh, and then, do you remember the Switch Lite?
Yeah, it's like the one. It's basically the Switch, but you can't remove Joy-Cons.
Yeah, it's the Switch where it's just a handheld.
Yeah.
That was an interesting idea, but at the same time, it was kind of like, I only play the Switch handheld like 20% of the time.
Yeah.
So there was like...
See, for me, it's actually a good idea, because I end up playing it more as a handheld, but I have played it a couple times on the TV. But yeah. I think it works for the type of player who's going to use it,
But I'd prefer to like have the option.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would too. But for some people, like, for kids, it's great, because most likely kid, like, is going to play it handheld version.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, that was another thing to me that was like mind-blowing when I first saw it. The first time out in public, seeing a kid like waiting in line with a Switch.
Oh, really?
Well, because it was like, I saw that and it literally hit me where it was like, we've reached that point in gaming where now you take your console with you to the store.
No, yeah.
I was like, Damn. I remember that because that was like a shock. Then like you'll go to a game store and people have just Switches and they'll be like, "This is so weird."
Yeah, it's weird they just have their console. Like, it's just funny because, like, when you say that, like, and you picture, like, a PlayStation, and you just picture someone, like, wheeling around their PlayStation.
No, it reminds me of,
TV. The flip PlayStation that we had?
No, not even that. It reminds me of, like, back in, like, old game nights with former associates I had back in the day, where I'd take the entire console with me for, like, game nights.
Yeah.
But now it's like you take this... Because they all work with, like, all the docks are compatible. It's not like the Switch is only compatible to its original dock. So you can just, like, take your Switch to someone else's house and stick it in their dock, and it will, like, work fine.
Yeah.
So it's, like, great for, like, if you want to show games or, like, mess around. Like, anytime I go over to, like, a friend's place or I visit you or something, I always bring the Switch just because.
Yeah.
It's so easy to transport.
Yep.
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to the future. I mean, that OLED Switch is interesting, but I feel like it's kind of a waste of money right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel... I looked into that a little bit, but I also kind of feel like I'd rather wait and actually see what it is, see someone review it and be like, if it's a waste of time or not, if it's worth getting or not. So.
Well, my whole thing is, like, the only real advantage I can see with it is it has a built-in, like, Ethernet port. Yep. Something that the Switch, ironically, like, oddly doesn't have. Mm-hmm. But, aside from that, which, I mean, I wouldn't even be able to properly utilize right now anyways, but...
Yeah.
The only other thing that's interesting is it has a bigger screen, but I play majority of the time in console mode anyways.
On the
so
TV,
it's like,
yeah.
It just a whole bunch of things where it's like, this doesn't matter to me at all. In the
it doesn't really... It's not really worth it.
But, I mean, it's so weird because there's just so many games on it, and, like, I just feel like there isn't enough time to play them. Mm-hmm. Like, Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, Fire Emblem. It's a never-ending list of games that, like, I want to play. I just don't have time. Yeah. They're putting old PC RPGs on there now, like Baldur's Gate and stuff, and it's like, I want to play all of these. I just don't have the time.
I just don't have the time to play all of these.
That's the problem with gaming, is when you grow up, you have all the time and money. No, you have all the money to buy them, but you don't have any of the time you used to have.
Yep.
It's like reverse of...
Oh, sorry.
The reverse of back in the day.
Yep.
But, yeah, I feel like we've gone into it. I mean, other than that, really, I guess, like, what are your thoughts on an eventual successor?
I can't even think about that, because I don't know. I feel like it will kind of take a step back to, like, it will kind of be like a repeat. I feel like the cycle will repeat, and it will be like the N64 again, where they make things that aren't as great, because I just don't know how they'll follow up to it. So I kind of feel like it's not going to be whatever they follow up with. My only
thing with the Switch is, eventually it's going to hit that power ceiling where it's like...
Oh, yeah.
The other systems get so far ahead that they're going to have to move forward again.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how...
But I don't think they're going to want to. Well,
the problem is they're going to have to, because they're not going to be able to get anything new.
Well, yeah. But I definitely think it's going to be rough, the next one. I feel like it's going to be rough.
I don't know. It depends on how they handle it, because they handled the Switch really well. They figured out how to market again. Because, my God, the marketing for the Switch has been phenomenal compared to the god-awful Wii U and late Wii marketing.
Yes.
Like, it actually, like, when you see a Switch ad, like, you hear that distinctive click.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, you know immediately, like, ooh, Switch, what's coming out?
Yep.
But, I don't know, we'll see. I'm looking forward to the future for it. It's only 4 years in, too, which is nuts.
Uh-huh.
And honestly,
it is crazy. I feel like it's been out for much longer.
Honestly, it could probably go longer.
I feel like doesn't it have even more games than the Wii U had?
Oh, yeah. Well, the majority of the Wii U's library's on it.
Oh, yeah, true.
That mattered anyways, but it's already sold more than the Wii U. Honestly, if it came out at the same time as the PS4, I think it might have had a decent shot at competing with it. But
I agree.
anyways, considering your fault, you're starting to crash and burn.
I am. I'm just like, I don't know what it is. Well, it's because I cried a bunch yesterday and I didn't recover.
Well, get to bed early then tonight, I guess.
I will. I gotta stay up late tomorrow.
Yep. Yep. But anyways, I feel like this is where we'll cut it for now because we're running out of steam anyways.
And because it's the Switch, bitch.
Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, once again...
This is where Bill decided that he no longer wanted me to be his co-host or his sister. The end. Woo!
Anyways, guys, Gaming Collecting Podcast is made on Anchor Podcasts, and you can find us on all of your major podcasting platforms, particularly Spotify Podcast and Apple Podcasts. And once again, and you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. But once again, guys...
No Facebook. No. I'm just kidding.
If you want to make the page, go for it. But,
not really.
No. But anyways, guys, thanks again for joining us as we discuss the games that shaped us, and we will see you all later.
And it's the Switch, bitch. And I'm fired. Woo! Bye.